everyone from Benish. I hope the walking challenge is going well. As we cool down on the walking challenge, I want to teach you proper ways to cool down, which includes stretching. So I've said it before a couple times, when we are warming up or in the morning when our muscles are a little stiff, we want to do what's called dynamic stretching. So this includes things like what we do right before you work out to get the muscles moving, which includes these slower but bigger movements to kind of get those muscle fibers nice and warm, ready to go, ready to work out. So when your muscles are cold, like in the morning, or if you haven't really exercised a lot or done a bunch of moving around, maybe do those slower movements. That's dynamic stretching. What we're going to focus on today is that post-movement stretching. So that's called static stretching. You want to do these when your muscles are warm, like for example, right after walking or in general exercising. The reason why you want to do the static stretching after exercise and not before when your muscles are cold is because it can actually increase your risk for injury, like a tear or strain, when doing these stretches while the muscle is cold. So when they're warm, they're ready to go, they're not going to be as prone to a strain or a tear when you're doing those holding motions or the holding stretches post-exercise, post-walk, or whatever. So I'll do a little bit of upper body, but I'm really going to focus on lower body because this is a walking challenge, and last I checked, we don't walk on our hands. If you do, bravo, I want to see that. So we will focus on lower body. So we're going to start on the floor. We're going to have one leg out, one leg tucked in. So what we want to do is we want to keep our knee on the ground. We also want to keep our butt on the ground. Sometimes if you already feel a pull sitting here with your back straight, you feel a pull there, maybe just stay like that. If you don't feel that pull just yet, keep that knee on the ground and slowly slide your hand up to get to your toes. Now this might mean you can only get to here before the knee starts coming up. That's fine, stop there. I have long arms, so it looks like I'm flexible, but I'm not. So you're gonna lean into it, go as far as you can. You want to feel a pull, but you don't want it to be painful. So that's kind of the fine line that you're flirting with there. You want it to feel a nice big stretch, but you don't want it to be like, oh my gosh, this is gonna tear off the bone at any moment. So that's what we're working with. You wanna make sure that you're breathing, big deep breaths in. As you exhale out, slowly deepen into the stretch a little bit further. You also wanna make sure with every exercise, with every stretch, that you hold that for at least 10 seconds. The reason being is the muscle actually doesn't relax enough to get that stretch until about 8 seconds in. So if you hold it for ideally 15 to 30 seconds, 15 on the lowest end, but absolutely no less than 10 to 12 seconds, you'll be sure to get some kind of a stretch. So now we're gonna switch to the other side. Same exact thing, same process. Reach as far as you can, make sure that knee doesn't come up off the ground. As soon as it does, you're no longer stretching your hamstring. So we want our knee to be nice and flat, leg to be nice and flat. Breathing in as we breathe out, lowering into the stretch. If you want to stretch your lower back with these exercises, take the opposite arm and reach over, and you'll feel a little pull right there in your lower back. A lot of times people who have really tight low backs and they have low back pain, it's usually, especially for men, the cause is going to be tight hamstrings. So if you can get both stretching at the same time, double whammy, perfect. So take one more big deep breath in and exhale out. As you exhale out, slowly come up. We're going to put our feet in the center for a butterfly stretch. Sit up nice and straight. You're going to feel a pull right down in here in your groin. You can press down. Please don't ever bounce with this stretch. I see people do that all the time. It makes me so nervous. This is a nice hold. You can use your elbows to push your knees down a little bit further as you lean into it. Same thing, feel a pull, but not something where you're like, this is about to tear. As you breathe in, hold, exhale out, and slowly deepen that stretch. Nice, slow, relax. You can even put your hands down if you want a little bit deeper of a stretch. Just kind of push down lightly. Good. Another big deep breath in. Exhale out, go nice and low. Then pop back up. Perfect. All right, next what we're gonna do is a glute stretch. So one leg is gonna be straight out. Take the other leg, cross it over with your foot flat on the ground. Take your knee, give it a big hug, and then pull up. You should feel that pull right here on your glutes. So this is a glute stretch. If you don't feel it here, you can do this exact same thing lying down. So you'll just hold, instead of holding your knee, you'll hold, and I can fix you guys so you can see, you'll hold your thigh. So you can do it, keep holding that pose. You can do it lying down or standing, or I'm sorry, sitting up straight like this. Make sure your back straight, you're not kind of slunched over. Back is up nice and straight, you're holding that stretch. Same thing, big deep breaths in as you exhale. Bring that knee up a little bit higher, closer to your chin, while keeping it crossed over. You don't want to uncross while you're doing that. Good, one more big deep breath in. And exhale out, pull a little bit further, and then slowly release down. Switch sides. Remember, you can do this on the ground lying or sitting up. Totally up to you. Some people might feel the stretch on one side more than the other. That's totally fine. Usually, like when you stand up, we usually stand on one leg versus the other when we're just standing normally. So the leg that you usually sit on, like when you are standing up, that leg is usually going to be a little bit tighter. So don't freak out if you feel the stretch more in one than the other. Also don't freak out if you can't feel the stretch while sitting. Try it on the ground like I just showed you. You'll probably feel it there. If not, then you probably have great glutes, so good job. All right, we'll take one more big deep breath in. Then exhale out, good. All right, next we're gonna stretch our hips. So I'll face you guys. It's basically like a lunge on the ground. So we're gonna put one leg out, put our knee on the ground. You can put a towel or like a brick or something softer on your knee if that kind of is making it uncomfortable. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna lean forward so you'll feel it right here in your hips. Again, some of you might not feel it. Some of you might feel it in one versus the other. Some of you might feel it in both. Hips are a little weird. For example, I always feel it in this hip. This hip is always tighter, whereas on my other hip, I don't really feel the stretch. So it's all depending on how tight your hips are individually. Good. Big deep breath in. Remember, as you exhale every time, lower yourself a little bit deeper into that stretch. One more big deep breath in. Exhale out, lower yourself, and slowly come up. Good. Switch sides, same thing, opposite side. Good. So again, you might feel it in this one, you might not feel it. It's totally individual. Good. You should feel it right here, right in that little hip area. Perfect. Remember, you exhale, slowly deepen that stretch. Good. All right, come on up. Before we go back to standing, or up to standing, we're gonna do one more. This is gonna be lower back and then a little bit of our core too. It's gonna be child's pose. So feet are together, knees are apart, and you're gonna sit back on your butt and reach your arms out as far as you can. You should feel it down along the sides of your core. Place your forehead down on the ground. I'm gonna keep mine up so I can keep talking to you. So forehead goes down on the ground and just hold that there. You should feel it in your hips, maybe a little bit in your quads, but definitely down both sides. So keep your forehead on the ground and breathe. As you take your last big inhale in, on the exhale, walk to one side. So you'll feel a pull on whatever the opposite side is that you walk to. Place your forehead back down. Same thing, take big deep breaths. Keep your forehead down, or as close to down as you can, and big exhales. Again, I'm keeping my head up so I can keep talking. Take one more big deep breath in on the exhale. Lift your head up and walk to the other side. And go ahead and put your forehead down or as close to down as you can. Feel that pull on the other side. Forehead on the ground. Good. Big, deep inhale in. Exhale out. Give me one more big, deep breath in. Then exhale out. As you exhale out, come up and walk to the center of your mat. Lift yourself up so you're in tabletop position. And then we will go ahead and stand up. So, we've gone pretty much all the way up. We're going to do our calves and our quads next. So, quads, you can grab onto something, whether it's the wall, you can use a chair, doesn't matter to me. I'm actually going to rotate this. There we go. All right. Rotate that so you guys see. So you can put your hand on the wall, grab your quad, and you should feel it right down the center, just like that. Good. Big deep breath in, big exhale out. As you exhale out, bring that leg up just a little bit more. Make sure you're standing straight. You're not hunched over with your hip in and your knee out. We want it to be nice and straight so you feel that pull down along your quad. Good. Now we'll switch, same thing other side. We'll test my balance here. Just like that, good. If you're doing this without holding on to anything, focus on something right in front of you on the ground. It'll help with your balance a little bit. Try not to focus on anything moving, otherwise you'll lose your balance a little easier. Or always hold on to something. That way you can focus on the stretch and not your balance, which balance is important to work with, but right now we're focusing on stretching. One more big deep breath in, then exhale out. Good. All right, the last two stretches I want to show you are your calf stretches. So we have two calf muscles. We have our gastrocnemius, or gastroc for short. It is that big juicy muscle we always see protruding. But we also have our soleus muscle. So that muscle is lower and deeper, so it's behind the gastroc and our calf. Both are equally important, one because they're muscles, so they're there for a reason, but they both also insert into your Achilles tendon. So a lot of times we only stretch our gastroc, but we still might feel kind of a pull in our Achilles tendon. And that's because almost no one stretches their soleus. That's not very fair. So I'm going to teach you how to do both. So the classic calf stretch that we all know, foot as parallel as you can to the wall and leaning in. So you should feel that higher up on your calf, so like right in here. We are stretching our gastroc. Our gastroc crosses our ankle and our knee joint. So in order to stretch our soleus, which doesn't cross our knee joint, we take the knee out of the equation. So to do that, we stay in the exact same position. We just slightly bend our knee. So you should feel the transfer of stretch from up here to down here, lower and deeper in your calf. So that's how you stretch both calf muscles. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll start with our gastroc. Knee straight, not bent, foot as parallel as we can make it to the wall. You'll face the wall and try to deepen that stretch by leaning in closer. Good. And then now just same position, just bend your knee, and I feel that transfer of stretch down lower into my foot or my calf.